How's it going, everyone? This is Soul Singed here, and welcome to the first of 3 XXO videos I'm going to be making, hopefully today. This one is going to be giving my thoughts on the 2021 list. The next one is going to be talking about the last few years for the XXL list, because more and more people, every year people say the list is getting worse, and a lot of people are calling this year's list the worst XXL list of all time, which I would disagree because the 2018 class was pretty bad. But that's going to be the second video, and the third video is going to be if I made the 2020 list if I made the 2021 list / 2022 predictions. Basically, I'm just going to be saying these are artists that I would have put on the 2021 list, or they could be artists that might make the 2022 list. So it'll be like a super early prediction, I guess. But I just wanted to talk about this list. First of all, I just want to get out the way, I don't really listen to any of these artists. I mostly listen to underground artists or mainstream artists that have been relevant for a few years. For example, I really fuck with Trippie Redd. I really like Trippie Redd's music. I really like Lil Uzi Vert. But they've been relevant for a few years now. Most of the mainstream rappers I do listen to have been relevant for a good 3 to 4 years. But when it comes to a lot of these artists on this list, I may not listen to them, but I've at least heard their names floating around. I'm going to just give my thoughts on each one. First up, we got Morray. Not really a fan of him. Heard some of his music. Sounds pretty good, to be honest. Not something I personally like. But he definitely deserves to make the list. Has a good buzz going for him. And yeah, I think he's a good pick. Ian Dior. You guys already know, I don't like Ian Dior. I think he's one of the most bland rappers out right now. Out of all the industry plants, I don't see how Ian Dior is the one who stuck. Because to me, his music is just incredibly bland. And I understand why he's on the list. Because XXL wanted to get a pop rap type artist. That's kind of like one of the newer waves in rap is the pop rap. We have like the Kid Laroi, 24kGoldn, even Juice WRLD dabbled in that sound a little bit. But last year they had 24kGoldn, and his biggest song, Mood, featured Ian Dior. And I guess they didn't want to put both 24kGoldn and Ian Dior on the same list. And this year, it would have been either the Kid Laroi or Ian Dior. And I feel like they went with Ian Dior because he has a lot less hate surrounding him. Even though the Kid Laroi is much bigger, Ian Dior is not nearly as hated. Because if you don't remember, there's a lot of people calling the Kid Laroi a Juice WRLD clone. The label's just pushing him as the next Juice WRLD, the Mid Laroi, and with Ian Dior has a lot more people who like his music. Plus, he does have more rap elements than the Kid Laroi. So, even though I feel like he should have been on the list last year, because keep in mind, Ian Dior originally blew up back in 2019, I still think he's a pretty solid pick. And he's one of the rappers who, him and Morray are going to be around for a while, because Ian Dior has proven that he makes appealing music that people like. So, yeah. Next up, we got Lakeyah, I don't know how to pronounce her name. Now, everyone is saying, who the hell is this girl? No one's heard of her, and I thought I was in the same boat until I looked her up and realized I actually got one of her songs as an ad a couple weeks ago on YouTube. Because if you look her up, her YouTube numbers seem to be pretty good. Most of her music videos have over 1 million views. But you can't really trust that because those views could just be boosted by getting ads. Because I got her song as an ad. And even my dad, who doesn't even listen to rap, got her song as an ad. So half those views are probably just from her song being played as ads. And yeah, she's pretty unknown. But I feel like she has some kind of industry pushes. I think she signed to a pretty big label. But yeah, pretty unknown. Doesn't make bad music, but no one really knows who she is, so no one's gonna really care about her. DDG is an artist that I'm kinda surprised made the list. He's one of 2 YouTube rappers that have been trying to get on Double XL. Most of the YouTube rappers I don't think really care about Double XL. And most YouTube rappers have virtually zero chance of making it on Double XL. But DDG is probably the most solid pick to have a YouTube rapper on the freshman list, because he makes the most appealing music out of all the YouTube rappers. Him and KSI are probably the 2 YouTube rappers that make the most appealing music. Because one reason why YouTube rappers get shit on so much is because most of them are Eminem wannabes or spiritual lyrical miracles. You know, rappers like Luke Gone, Crypt, Vinjay. And then you have this whole subgenre of YouTube rappers that are conservative, that rap about being Republican and rap about being oppressed. So YouTube rap does not have a really good rep, but DDG is probably one of the most respected. And he's officially done with YouTube now. If you go to his YouTube channel, there's only one video where he says he's basically done with YouTube and is just going to pursue a career in music now. And I got a lot of respect for him, even though I don't really listen to his music. I got a lot of respect for him for being able to actually completely shed the YouTube rap label. The other YouTube rapper that's been trying to get on Double XL is Dax, Dax has already kind of shed the YouTube label. He doesn't make YouTube videos, but he just continues to associate with other YouTube rappers. And Dax is a very skilled and talented rapper, but there's just so many people out there who find him corny that I don't think he can make the list. The only reason why Double XL would put someone like Dax on is to have a really skilled rapper, like a lyrical rapper, because they always try to have at least one artist like that on the list. But I guess since there's so much negativity around Dax's name, they played it safe and picked DDG. Next up, we got 42 Dugg. Heard his name floating around, heard a couple tracks from him. He deserves a list, but I'm not really a fan. Ruby Rose. I did not know who this is, and then looking her up, she's more or less known as a Instagram thought, OnlyFans account, and she's also been known to model in music videos and just generally cause relationship drama with random rappers. But I'm not the only person who didn't know who she was. Most people that do know who she is know her for all the Instagram stuff and drama she causes, and no one even knew she was a rapper. Now, I've looked into some of her music. Her music sounds okay. Nothing special, pretty generic. But if no one even knew her as a rapper, why did Double XL think it would be a good idea of putting her on the list? Because she is the main artist that everyone is hating on. A lot of people are saying that she's probably one of the worst picks for a Double XL freshman, and I think I would have to agree with, because I don't think I've ever seen any other really, really questionable picks. I mean, there was Ugly God, who was a meme rapper. He was kind of questionable. Lil Dicky was kind of questionable. And then some of the other really just random artists that no one knows or cares about have been questionable. But Ruby Rose is probably the most questionable, because she's not even known for music. It would be like putting PewDiePie on the Double XL freshman list because he's made a few rap songs, but nobody knows him as a rapper. That's Ruby Rose. So I don't know why they would put her on the list. So, yeah, she definitely does not deserve to be on the list. Blast, I have no clue who that is. Doesn't really seem to be all that poppin', so I guess he's probably the more slept-on, unknown artist. Because Double XL seems to be getting to where they had this weird mishmash of artists. And Blast seems to be the unknown artist this year. Don't have much to say about him because I've never heard of him. Pooh Shiesty is another rapper I haven't listened to very much. Don't think he's a terrible artist or anything. He definitely deserves to be on the list, so I think it's a good pick. Tootsie, another artist who I've been hearing his name floating around, think is a pretty solid pick. And then we have the Coi Leray, who a lot of people feel mixed on. Regardless whether or not you like her music, she deserves to be on the freshman list. Now, only time will tell if this is a good or bad pick, because while the Coi Leray is probably one of the biggest artists to blow up off TikTok, she still hasn't completely shed that TikTok rapper skin. Because if you look back, a lot of artists who blow up on TikTok have their little 5 minutes of fame with their big blow up song, then they fall into, and then they basically become irrelevant almost immediately. Look at artists like Baby No Money. He had his song blow up on TikTok, and now no one's talking about him. Look at Swaco the Child. He had a song blow up on TikTok, now no one's talking about him. And Coi Leray hasn't fully broken out of that yet, and I feel like she has potential to really shed that skin, because she's one of the more unique female rappers. Now, a lot of people have called her a Playboi Carti clone, which I would agree to a certain extent, but there are no other female rappers out here doing that type of sound. So I think she has the potential to really be her own artist and like really blow up and kind of be in her own lane and stay relevant for a while. Maybe not as big as like Megan or Nicki, but I definitely feel like she can hold on to some relevancy if she handles things the right way. And then there's Flo Milli, another good pick for this list. A lot of people were saying she was snubbed off last year's list because the two female rappers we got on last year's list were somewhat unknown and still haven't really made much of a name. But Flo Milli had a song that blew up last year on TikTok and didn't really have much of a track record, which is why she was left off last year's list. And she's really built herself up, has a really, really strong, loyal fan base, has her own movement going, has a few other really big tracks, so she definitely deserves to make the list. Out of the 4 female rappers, yes, there are 4 female rappers on this list, the only 2 that really deserved it were Coi Leray and Flo Milli. The other 2, one is an Instagram thought who starts drama that no one even knows made music, and then the other one's just completely unknown. So really, I don't know why they would put 4 female rappers on this list. Like, really, what they should have done is held off and put Ruby Rose and Lakia on the 2022 list if Ruby Rose was able to become a rapper and have all the controversies kind of forgotten. And I feel like Lakia has the potential to be a bigger artist, but I feel like she would have been a better pick for 2022. And that's my thoughts on the 11 freshmen this year. And there is a good handful of artists that people feel were left out. First up, a lot of people were wanting Snot to be on the list, but he has admitted that he declined the list. So I mean, that's not really Double XL's fault. Snot just declined it. The Kid Laroi is another artist a lot of people have been wanted to see on the list, and I feel like he has declined it. And I want to say I read something a few months ago that said he already declined to be on the list. But if he didn't decline, I understand why Double XL would want to leave him off, because there's a lot of people out there that don't rock with the Kid Laroi, and Double XL tries to avoid controversial artists, so it makes sense that he wouldn't be on the list for that. J.I. the Prince of NY, another artist that was left off that a lot of people wanted to see. And I feel like one of the biggest snubs is CJ. I really feel like CJ was a lock for 2021, even though I know he's just going to be like another designer. Like, he had his song Whoopty blow up, and I feel like he's just going to immediately fall off after that. Because first of all, I don't even listen to drill, so I don't even like Whoopty that much, but I see the appeal, and most of his music outside of Whoopty is just straight trash. But I feel like he was a lock for the 2021, just to kind of represent that drill, that New York drill scene, which, like I said, I don't even listen to drill. And they don't have a single artist on here. Some other artists that people wanted to see on the Double XL list, Tokyo's Revenge. At one point, he felt like he was a lock for the 2021 list, but he kind of ruined his career with the whole grooming underage girl situation. Lil Loaded, some people want him on the list. Unfortunately, he's passed away. Same with King Von. A lot of people were thinking he was going to be a lock for this year's list. He unfortunately passed away last year. And, yeah, I can't really think of too many other artists that people were wanting to see on the list. There was a few more, but I'm trying to think of, some of the other artists that I wanted to see on the list were, Clever. Though I know a lot of people don't like Clever, I'm personally a fan of his music. I wanted to see him on the list. And Josiah, I wanted to see him on the list, but unfortunately he did not make it either. And then Mario Judah is another artist that a lot of people at one point wanted to make the list. Then there was the whole Playboi Carti situation, then him faking a domestic abuse incident on social media. And then there's also a lot of people out there that just don't like his rock star sound, which, that's subjective. And he basically has been dead silent for a few months now. So I think at this point, no one really wanted to see Mario Judah on the list, but at one point, people were pushing him to make the freshman list. But yeah, overall, I think this list is okay. I don't really think it's definitely not the worst. There's definitely a good handful of artists on here that people really wanted. A few really whack artists. But overall, I think the list is decent. And if you really think about it, for this year, there wasn't a whole lot to work with. Most up-and-coming rappers were either way too big and established, or they're either way too small and unknown, or they're just too controversial to put. Like, because you have artists like Lil Darky who objectively deserve to make the XXL freshman, but I don't know if Lil Darky would. I feel like if they did reach out to him, he would decline it. And then they wouldn't reach out to him because of all the controversies surrounding his name. But yeah, overall, this is just a pretty weak year for upcoming rappers. And it just kind of shows on the XXL freshman list. And, yeah, that about wraps this up. Peace.